Me acknowledge my Vice President here present, Mr. Eric Ati, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Amazonia Interim House of Representatives, Dr. Winnie Lobati, and the following close collaborators of mine in central administration from Menchum: Peter Combe, Deputy Secretary of State for Home Affairs and Community Mobilization and County Chair; Reverend Ivo Commando, Director of Spiritual Affairs at the Presidency, number 2, Vice Chair of Menchum County; Reverend George Jega, Chairman, Menchum Valley Local Government Area; Venatius Beng, Chairman, Wom Local Government Area; the Interim House of Representatives, Representative Honorable Peter Kube. My dear people of Menchum, fellow Amazonians, we are once more in the rich, picturesque county of Menchum to participate in this humanitarian patriotic exercise. Today is the turn of the great county of Menchum to draft. We gather at the foot of the Menchum Falls to renew our commitment to taking this liberation cause to its finish line. There is no fitting place to do this other than the great strategic county of Menchum, which does not only share borders with 5 other counties in the Midland and Savannah zones, namely Boyo, Manyu, Menchum, and Momo counties, but also borders our good neighbors, Nigeria, to the west. You can now understand the extent of the geopolitical importance of this great county, and why La République du Cameroun is multiple posts, military posts there to control the barely passable stretch of the Bafut-Wom part of the infamous Ring Road, which colonial dictator Paul Biya promised to tar 40 years ago and failed. Our forces are not missing in action either. Let's not forget the vaporization of some of these armored vehicles by our valiant Amazonian Restoration Forces in the lower Bafut and the Menchum Valley, thus forestalling the evil genocidal plans of the enemy. With the bravery of these Amazonian armed patriots in Menchum, who are putting their lives on the front lines in order to defend our people and regain our country. Many of them have fallen in battle during this process of defending our homeland. Others are still holding the fort. We will continue to honor them for their sacrifice towards liberating our homeland, as well as the thousands of our civilian compatriots who have been massacred since this senseless genocidal war was brought on us by the bloodthirsty regime of La République du Cameroun under Paul Biya in 2017. A moment of silence, please. May the constant memory of their ultimate sacrifice continue to fuel our resolve to achieve our goal of the total liberation of homeland Amazonia. Dear compatriots here present, in a week's time, we will be commemorating our Independence Day. And preceding our usual commemoration this year, there will be a commemoration of the UN Southern Cameroon's Memorial Day on the 30th of September 2023. This is the first of its kind. The commemoration of this day is to remind the United Nations and the Western colonizers of their unfinished business in Southern Cameroon's Amazonia. It is to prompt them to fully implement their United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1608, paragraph 15, which granted us independence and prescribed the process for it to be actualized. Unfortunately, and under the watch of the United Nations, this important resolution was trampled upon by the United Nations leadership, resulting in the handing over of our territory to France as a small gift from Her Majesty to be managed by their proxy, La République du Cameroon. There's no doubt that the botched decolonization paved way for the annexation, or worse still, the recolonization of our country, the Southern Cameroons, on October 1st, 1961 by French Cameroon. This is one of the worst injustices, if not the worst, done in colonial Africa in the 20th century. And to think that the human catastrophe caused by this genocidal war, waged on us by the senile, evil colonial puppet dictator Paul Biya, is being overlooked by the very world powers who put us in this mess in the first place, is exacerbating. All it will take to stop this mayhem is for these world powers and their institution, the United Nations, to revisit their Southern Cameroon's La République du Cameroon project, which they founded in 1961, and evaluate the implementation of their own resolution or the status of their initiative. That would be bloodless and cost-effective. But they have chosen to look away, giving the advantage to the stronger party, La République du Cameroon and their army, to solve the problem by silencing us militarily. But be it known that our generation has firmly embraced the uneasy yet inevitable path of resisting this evil hold on our freedom and restore our sovereignty as was prescribed by our forebears in their zero option when they met in Bamenda in 1995 during the AAC2. When the enemy instructed their military, paid by our Southern Cameroon petrol dollars, to kill us all for daring to question the foundation of our failed union, instead of dialoguing with us, we had no option left but to opt for a robust self-defense action to protect our people, our territory, and patrimony from extermination by our annexationists. Menchum was one of the early counties that raised the banner of freedom or resistance forever. Our diplomatic offensive has been aggressive, preceding the ongoing United Nations General Assembly in New York. We are confident that the fruits of our effort now and in the near future will continue growing for all of us to see as we simultaneously up our self-defense efforts against enemy forces on the ground. My valiant ARFs of Menchum County, last year we were picking up the pieces of a significant disruption of our liberation movement by some pay-for-play adventurers who pretentiously found their way into our liberation room. Menchum defense was particularly hit because some former officials previously swindled the county's money and discouraged many Menchumites. Some are also pulling themselves back as if we all surrender today, the enemy will change to do us good because we fought hard and failed. If you refuse to help those who are being slaughtered daily by the enemy, if you take away resources that would have helped victims to defend themselves, in this life, you might say you don't care. But before God, you'll be guilty of murder. Because the good book says, he who knows to do good and does it not, to him it is counted as sin. The tsunami of spoilers in 2022 hit Menchum in many dimensions. But please, people of Menchum, Remember me, remember this that I said today, that in 40 years from today, 90% of us here present will be dead and gone. Monuments will not be raised for you because of what you achieved or did for yourself or your family. Monuments shall be raised for the things you did for others. Ordinary people fight for gain, but great people are more concerned about what will be said about them after they are gone. Today, there is no more doubt about the stance of those who stole our money here in Menchum and the spoilers who left us in 2022 as far as this quest for independence is concerned. They now shamelessly beat the drums for our enemy. They are campaigning to continue the status quo of slavery within one Cameroon. They are now begging for a certain upgraded special status, whatever that means. There are also some in the diaspora who silently pray and hope that we fail so they can save their money for their families. Our 62-year-old colonial subjugation and exploitation, coupled with the 50,000 plus lives that have been lost since this liberation war started, mean nothing to them. They are eager to take us back to Yaoundé using every means possible. Unfortunately for them, Yaoundé is dealing with a sophisticated generation of Amazonians who will endure the pains of this genocide to the last man standing. Fortunately, we have you, our ARFs, our heroic ARFs, and our financial ARFs that you are. A fired up remnant that has stood up in the gap between servitude and freedom. There's no turning back. I salute you, the resilient ARFs of Menchum County, who never gave up, engaging the enemy in our territory, irrespective of the distraction and manipulation that were perpetrated from the diaspora. You created hell for the enemy in your fort, and when you defeated them in battle, they fomented fake farmer-grazier conflicts to massacre our innocent people and burn our villages. Your recent response to those hired grazers, so-called, was commendable. In this year of acceleration, let the ARFs of Menchum roar again like the Savannah lions. Let the Menchum eagle take his place as the king of the sky and prey on the ill-trained genocidal scouts of the La Republique. Let the depth traps of Menchum Valley be activated again in their numbers as promised. And I heard the promise you sent to me on behalf of your battalions. If you don't fail us, we will not fail you. Collaboration with neighboring county forces will be key in order to puncture every move by the enemy, especially through the jungle stretch of Lower Bafoot Forest. We will continue working with your county self-defense leadership to make sure that the impact of this year of acceleration is heavily felt by the enemy distributed across the Menchum County. My dear people of Womb, Menchum Valley, and Fungom LGs, some of the pangs of our collective colonial subjugation under La Republique and their systematic annihilation of our institutions as they pursue their assimilation and exploitation agenda were experienced firsthand right here by the people of Menchum County. They systematically dismantled a vibrant development outfit, the Womb Area Development Authority WADA. They short-circuited the construction of what would have been the largest hydroelectric dam in West Africa at the Menchum Falls. That would have served the energy needs of not only our people, the whole of Amazonia, but our neighboring countries. Let's never forget the unresolved massacre of more than 3,000 of our compatriots in yours in 1986, allegedly by a suspected experiment that was authorized by Mr. Biya. This slavery, evil subjugation, and exploitation is the story of every Amazonian during the past 6 decades. Despite the massacres by the genocidal regime of Yaoundé, our rock determination to be the last generation of subjugated southern Cameroonians and Amazonians is unshakable. That's why we are here again tonight to draft ourselves financially as our continuous contribution to the freedom of our homeland. Patriotic financial warriors and dedicated supporters of the Menchum draft. Our brave sons and daughters of Menchum County defending homeland and protecting our vulnerable people being exterminated by La République du Cameroon's enemy forces are watching us tonight. I say so with expectations. They are expectant, determined, and ready to hold their fort and frustrate any enemy attacks. Whatever we do tonight, let us remember that the enemy has not stopped sending their killers to Menchum. They have not stopped funding them, even if that means borrowing from China to fund them. We too cannot stop doing the necessary. Holding back would be an act of suicide or homicide. Let us support our own, therefore, with the same vigor that the enemy supports his own. Let's do for Menchum like we have done to other counties. Every financial sacrifice to move our liberation quest further during this crucial time is priceless, especially at this time when our diplomacy is becoming more dynamic and more effective. The ARFs of this county have learned many skills in the trenches of Menchum. They have proven many a time that with the right tools in their hands, they will waste the enemy through strategic guerrilla warfare, something they master very well. Let's all do the go the extra mile tonight to support this very important geopolitically strategic county. Thank you once more. I count on your usual generosity tonight. Let the 2023 draft for Menchum County commence now. Viva the great people of Menchum County, and viva the brave people of Amazonia, and viva our Amazonia Restoration Forces. God bless our beautiful country.
Wow. Thank you.
I think it's time for us all
Everybody can unmute and let's give a good applause.
Thank you, Mr. President. We appreciate you. Thank you. God bless you.
Mr. President.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. President.
Thank
God
you, Mr.
bless the
President.
President of Amazonia.
Amazonia.
God is the President of Amazonia.
Amazonia.
Amazonia is
Oh,
free.
yeah.
What a brilliant speech.
As usual.
Thank you, Mr.
One and
President.
only president. God bless the President of Amazonia.
Burkina Faso.
More grace, President.
Hey, thanks everyone. That was such a brilliant.
Madam Speaker, unmute and speak.
I'm sorry, I thought I had unmuted myself. Thank you, Mr. President, for that brilliant speech. Right now, as he has opened the draft, I would like for the resource mobilization team, but before they go on, let Pastor Commando, who is the vice chair of the county, say a few words to appeal and to thank the president for that speech and tell us why we must all draft for Menchum. Thank you, Pastor Commando. Go ahead.
Thank you,